Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Zane. Today we'll be having a look at Pandora protocol. But before we get started, I'd like to declare that this video is not financial advice. This video is made for educational purposes and for entertainment. Now today we'll be having a look at Pandora protocol, real world assets to be borderless in an economy. Now the first question is, what is Pandora? So Pandora is a hybrid open finance solution for the problems that faced by both traditional finance and decentralized finance. So the transaction of real-world assets on the trustless and decentralized platform in a borderless economy, our scalable, interoperable, and high-throughput infrastructure converts the illiquid state of NFT to the liquid state of both real-world the illiquid state of NFT to the liquid state for both real-world and digital assets. By building thriving liquidity and a multi-chain ecosystem, our mission is to onboard the next wave of asset ownership in the on-chain ecosystem. Now, something to understand with Pandora is that the team at Pandora have actually devised the token distribution to be fair as possible for all stakeholders. They believe that they managed to strike a balance between providing partners and investors with a meaningful staking system and putting the future of the protocol in the hands of the community. Now, in so doing all of this, I'd like to introduce you guys to the PNDR. Now, what is that? That is actually the native token for Pandora protocol. Now, the native utility token for Pandora Finance is PNDR. The primary use of the PNDR token would be utility token for trading different NFT assets on the Pandora ecosystem. Now in the future, it may also be used as a governance and staking infrastructure token at the upcoming DAO infrastructure. I've also got a simple chart to show you how these tokens are distributed and to see if it's actually indeed distributed evenly, but I can't be the judge of that. The best judge of this distributed tokenized system is probably the community. And as you can see, the community reward is actually 39%. They're getting the largest portion of the rewards. Teams plus advisors getting 18%, and strategic reserve, that's 15%. Private sales is 17%, and seed investors 7%. Public sale, however, is only 1%. That's extremely low. So like I stated, it's not really up to me to decide if these tokens are distributed evenly, because I'm not the project's creator. But the token emission details, but it does say 3 million token is allocated for early investors, out of which 7% of TGE, then linearly daily over 18 months per 1 month towards early investors, seed investors, private investors. It looks like they are indeed released linearly. And there's a nice chart to go with that. It shows you from the start to month 2, month 10, and all the way up to 38 months of how much tokens will be released towards specific areas, such as foundation reserves, teams, private sales, seed, and early investors, and foundation rewards. And here's a nice little snippet on Pandora. Pandora protocol provides the platforms where any real assets can be traded in trustless and infrastructure way via NFT. We're leveraging the existing blockchain infrastructure and building a middle layer Pandora. This middle layer will help real-world assets get tokenized in NFT, which can be traded globally anywhere. Now, we've obviously heard of real-world assets possibly being made into NFTs, such as being represented by NFTs, because NFTs is actually a really good way to show ownership and to prove ownership of certain assets, such as artwork on NFT platforms. But take into account that if we could possibly get real-world assets to be represented by NFTs, this would actually change the way we prove that we own real-world assets, such as our phones, our gadgets, house, cars, the list goes on. I don't know to what extent these assets will be, but I suppose they might start with small assets in the beginning, possibly just phones and small tech items, and they possibly will leverage these decision makings to further develop the infrastructure so it can possibly handle more serious, higher, and more expensive, legitimate real-world assets. but it's going to take some time to get to that place. So right now, I think we just got to be patient and keep an eye on this project because it's what everyone has been talking about for a very long time, bringing real-world assets into representation by NFT. Is a bridge to the gap between off-chain assets and on-chain ecosystem. We envision the transaction of real-world assets on a trustless platform in a borderless economy. I've already went through this a little bit, but asset tokenization. Convert your real-world assets into digital ones using NFTs with our unique and innovative approach. Now, NFTs haven't been around for a long time. It really hasn't. So to see companies pushing the borders of trying to make this possible so soon is actually really interesting. I'll be keeping a very keen eye on how this works out. You can lend and you can borrow real-world assets without any intermediaries, which means that they're essentially cutting out the middleman. The Pi NFTs are back with real-world value assets to yield maximum value and scalability growth. Not to mention liquidity. Increase your potential ROI with advanced NFT marketplace practices by leveraging real-world assets. Now, marketplace, where you can buy and sell and swap your assets globally with anyone without hassle with just one click. And again, cutting out the middleman. Double yield. Now, this is interesting. First protocol to bring the continuous double yield on your investment through smart algorithmic contract. If this is true, wow, this is going to change a lot of things because it's a double yield system. Used at scale, easily integrated. So real-world assets. Tokenize your real-world assets, bring them on-chain via NFT, and introduce liquidity in them via Pandora. Now, for regular people, it's going to take a lot of time for regular people to understand these things. I've been learning about crypto for a while now, and I still struggle to understand what all of this means. I have to read it a couple of times just to get my brain around it. Digital assets. Get insured by any digital NFT and have benefits of double yield via protocol. So NFTs are slowly starting to trickle into the real world. But I do think that the best way how this will be done is possibly through ways without telling people that they're actually going to be showing their ownership through NFT. I mean, imagine if you showed that you own a house through NFT, but you don't actually know that the technology behind it is actually NFT. Half of the time when people use technology on their smartphones, in whichever way we use technology, we usually don't know or understand or care about the underlying technology. I think most people are not going to care. They don't care how they prove that they own their house. They just want to prove that they own their house. And if that's through NFT, that's fine with them, as long as it's easy to understand and easy to be used. And this is going to be the way how people are going to be using NFTs in the future, as long as it's easy to understand and easy to use. But if it's difficult to understand, if transaction fees are high, if gas fees are high, then I don't think you're going to be getting a lot of people using NFTs for real world assets until we can make it more sustainable and obviously cheap, possibly free to use. The first thing is the box. Box is some sort of surprise box. We're doing innovation with Pi NFT. We can create some box Pi NFT with ribbon. Hilix is a marketplace where NFTs are bought and sold. NFTs can be of real-world assets or digital assets. Check crypto kites. And not to mention social token. Social token is some social credit system of influence. Each influencer will have some points, more points, higher value of their content, art, whatever they create. And not to mention, these are some of the strategic investors that are partnered with Pandora. These are some of the strategic investors that are partnered with Pandora Protocol. Notably on this list is Bitcoin.com exchange. And they've also got ecosystem partners such as Unmarshall. So this was a quick dive into Pandora Protocol. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed this video. And of course, I will see you in the next one.